At the age of 16, I was a well-known ugly girl in my class. Song Xiaoyang mistakenly thought that I was the school belle and had an online relationship with me for 2 years. It was not until the day we met in person that he realized he had added the wrong WeChat account. Feeling humiliated, he bullied me for 3 years. As a result, I failed the college entrance examination. Many years later, he had both a successful career and a happy love life. While I was brutally assaulted and died during a part-time job, when I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the age of 16. I was back on the day when I had an appointment with Song Xiaoyang to meet in person. I remember that I was already dead. I died on a cold winter night in a hotel suite reeking of alcohol. A man with a fleshy face had a flushed complexion, and his thick hands were tightly gripping my neck, making it impossible for me to catch my breath. My consciousness stagnated for a moment. The pain all over my body suddenly disappeared. I opened my eyes abruptly and was stunned by the scene in front of me. There were row upon row of desks in front of me. I lowered my head and found that on the desk in front of me were a stack of high school textbooks and 2 sets of brand new school uniforms. Surrounding me were the familiar faces from my high school days. On the podium, Teacher Zhang, our head teacher, was smiling and introducing himself to us. But hadn't Teacher Zhang already retired long ago? Before I could figure out the situation, there was suddenly a sound of footsteps at the door of the classroom. Report. My heart skipped a beat. Could this voice be? I looked towards the door. The young man, dressed in black clothes and pants, was tall. There was a lazy smile on the corner of his mouth, and his posture was relaxed and frivolous. I was so startled that I almost let out a scream. Song Xiaoyang. The person who came was actually Song Xiaoyang. My heart was pounding in my chest, and a mix of fear and hatred welled up in my heart. My fingers unconsciously clenched tightly, and my nails dug into my flesh. The sharp pain in my palm finally made me sure that I had really been reborn. I had returned to the age of 16. I was back on the first day of senior high school, the day when I had an appointment with Song Xiaoyang to meet in person. Many of the misfortunes in my life began when I met Song Xiaoyang. After entering junior high school, my body began to develop. Not only did my upper body become plump, but I also had a lot of pimples on my face. There were often male classmates in the class who made fun of me. I was originally an introverted person. Over time, I became even more self-conscious and afraid to talk to my classmates. And Song Xiaoyang happened to appear at a time when I needed someone to accompany me the most. He was careless and added my WeChat account by mistake instead of that of his tutoring teacher. After the misunderstanding was cleared up, Song Xiaoyang not only didn't delete me but also took the initiative to suggest being friends with me. I didn't refuse, because at that time, I was really lonely. Just like that, we had an online relationship for 2 years. In the 3rd year of junior high school, Song Xiaoyang wanted to meet me in person, and I was so scared that I didn't know what to do. I also wanted to see him, but I was afraid that he would think I was ugly and didn't dare to agree. After Song Xiaoyang noticed my hesitation, he sent me another message. It was this message that plunged me into an abyss of no return. Meow meow, I know how wonderful you are. I don't care about your appearance. I like your inner qualities. I believed his sweet words and promised that as long as we both got into one middle school, I would meet him in person, in my previous life. We had agreed to meet at the amusement park this afternoon. He said he wanted to take me on the Ferris wheel. I wore a specially prepared white dress and went to see him with great joy in my heart. But the moment he saw me, his face changed. He looked at me in surprise. You are Meow Meow. I nodded and smiled at him. Yes, I'm Meow Meow. I was full of joy, but Song Xiaoyang's face gradually darkened. He made a call with a cold expression. Soon, 3 or 4 fierce-looking boys came. They were Song Xiaoyang's lackeys. At Song Xiaoyang's order, the boys dragged me into an alley on the street and beat me up. It started to rain lightly. My white dress was soon covered with mud stains and footprints. Song Xiaoyang kicked me in the stomach, and I felt a sharp pain as if my internal organs were splitting apart. I struggled and called his name, wanting to ask him why he was treating me like this. But he interrupted me. Bitch, do you think you're worthy of calling my name? You're so ugly and you still dare to pretend to be my goddess. You're so shameless. Stay away from me in the future. You're so unlucky. That's when I realized that Song Xiaoyang had really added the wrong WeChat account. The person he originally wanted to add was the school belle he had a crush on. My profile picture was the same as that of that girl, and our names both had the character, meow, which led to his mistake. What I thought was my salvation turned out to be a complete deception. Song Xiaoyang explained that he had gone to the wrong classroom just now. Since it was the first day of school, teacher Zhang didn't say much and motioned for him to find an empty seat and sit down. I looked at his back and fell into deep thought. The girl Song Xiaoyang really liked was named Jiang Jimiao, a well-known academic goddess. In my previous life, Song Xiaoyang pretended to be a good student in order to follow in her footsteps. It took him 3 years to successfully turn himself around from a bottom-of-the-class student to a student who was admitted to a key 211 university in Beijing. Jiang Jimiao was moved by his perseverance and determination and accepted his confession after the college entrance examination. The teacher used his story of turning things around as a positive example and even invited him back to the school to give a speech to the students. He not only gained a beautiful love but also received flowers and applause. While in a corner that no one paid attention to, I failed the college entrance examination. Song Xiaoyang regarded me as a disgrace and used me as a punching bag to relieve his study pressure. He bullied me for a full 3 years. In the end, I didn't even reach the admission score for the third-tier colleges that year and could only go to a local vocational college. I didn't have a decent education after entering society. I had a hard time. In order to pay off the debt I owed for my father's medical treatment, I sold the house and took on various part-time jobs to make money. Just when I was about to pay off the debt, I met a lecherous drunkard and died unexpectedly. The past flashed through my mind like a movie. It was not until my phone in my pocket vibrated that I came back to my senses. It was a message from Song Xiaoyang.
Meow meow, what clothes are you wearing today? I really can't wait to see you. Looking forward, JPG. I looked at the screen, and a wave of nausea welled up in my chest. He was clearly a person who judged others by their appearance and was interested in women because of their looks, yet he had the nerve to say that he didn't care about my appearance. It was really disgusting. I didn't want to have any more contact with Song Xiaoyang. So without thinking, I replied, I'm tired of it. Let's delete each other. There's no need for us to meet. After sending this message, I decisively deleted and blocked him. After the opening ceremony of the new semester, I hurried home without stopping. The moment I opened the door, I smelled a familiar and long-missed fragrance of food. My father was wearing a floral apron and preparing lunch in the kitchen. When he saw me coming back, he held a spatula and greeted me. Meow meow is back. Dad has made your favorite spicy chicken. Go wash your hands and get ready for lunch. I looked at his back, and my eyes couldn't help but fill with tears. Afraid that my father would notice something was wrong, I rushed to the bathroom and washed up carefully. When I came out again, the meal had already been served on the table. I picked up a piece of chicken and put it in my mouth. The taste that I remembered spread throughout my body through my mouth. The tear that I had held back for a long time finally fell. My father was startled when he saw me crying. Why are you suddenly crying for no reason? Is the food not delicious? I quickly shook my head. No. It's so delicious that I moved to tears. In my previous life, my father died of gastric cancer in the second year of my junior college. I never dreamed that I would have the opportunity to eat the food he cooked with his own hands again. My father let out a sigh of relief when he heard my words. He raised his palm and rubbed the top of my head. If you like it, eat more. You'll have the energy to go out and play with your classmates later after you're full. I didn't have any friends in junior high school and would stay at home on weekends. My father was really happy for me when he learned that I was going out to play with new friends today. Of course, I wouldn't go to see Song Xiaoyang again. In order not to make my father worry, I didn't explain to him. After finishing the meal, I went out, although I had blocked Song Xiaoyang. I still felt a little uneasy. The chance of being reborn was hard won. Just in case, I decided to go to the business hall and cancel my original phone number. The summer sun was scorching. After walking out of the business hall, I finally let out a sigh of relief. This way, Song Xiaoyang shouldn't be able to find me again. In the next 2 months, Song Xiaoyang ignored me. But just when I thought I had successfully gotten rid of Song Xiaoyang and was ready to devote myself to my studies, a piece of paper suddenly appeared in the drawer of my desk. There was a line of words written on it in a wild and exaggerated manner. Don't leave after school, just stay there and wait for me. I was very nervous and wasn't sure if Song Xiaoyang had written this note. To test him, I threw the note into the trash can in front of him. The moment I turned around, I glanced at Song Xiaoyang out of the corner of my eye. He didn't react much to it. I thought I was just overthinking it, but the next day, I found another small note in the drawer. This time, it said, "Bitch, If you dare to run away after school again, you're dead. My heart tightened. Bitch, was Song Xiaoyang's pet phrase. I had heard him say these 3 words countless times. I could basically be sure that the person who wrote the note to me was Song Xiaoyang. But why? Why was he still causing trouble for me even though I was avoiding him like this? I handed the note to Teacher Zhang, our head teacher. The 3 years when I was bullied by Song Xiaoyang in my previous life were the nightmare of my life. I definitely couldn't let myself fall into the same situation again. Teacher Zhang taught Chinese and wore a pair of black-rimmed glasses on her nose, looking very strict. She held the note and asked me if I had offended anyone recently. I shook my head. No, I get along well with my classmates. And I haven't had any conflicts with anyone. I also received a note yesterday. But I didn't take it seriously at that time, but the note appeared again today, and I was really scared, so I decided to tell you about it. Teacher Zhang patted me on the shoulder. You did the right thing. Don't keep things to yourself when something happens. You should take the initiative to communicate with the teacher. She asked me to go back first and told me to report to her in time if there were any new developments. I nodded seriously. The moment I lowered my head and turned around, I slightly curved the corners of my mouth. Teacher Zhang knew the handwriting of every student in the class very well. I believed that within 2 days, she would be able to get to the bottom of this matter. Song Xiaoyang wanted to pretend to be a good student, but I would definitely let the teacher see what a disgusting person he really was. On Friday afternoon, Teacher Zhang indeed called Song Xiaoyang to the office. When Song Xiaoyang returned to the classroom, his face was as dark as if it could drip ink. It was obvious that he had been criticized. He was young and hot-tempered. When he passed by me, he deliberately bumped into my desk with force. 2 books fell to the ground, and he stepped on them viciously twice. Before I could say anything, my male deskmate spoke first. He lazily lifted his eyelids and sneered. Song Xiaoyang, why do you look like a retard with incomplete cerebellar development and no cerebral development at all wherever you go? You can even bump into a desk when you walk. Song Xiaoyang was full of anger and didn't know where to vent it. He immediately shouted, "What are you barking about, you cheating dog? Are you eager to be expelled? We had adjusted our seats a week ago, and my new deskmate, Yi Zheng, was also a tough guy. He cheated in the first diagnostic exam after entering the school and was caught red-handed by the dean, who transferred him from the top class to the ordinary class. He now had a major demerit on his record. If he got another demerit, the school would expel him." Yi Zheng raised his eyebrows and smiled in a carefree manner. "It's hard to say, maybe the school will expel you first." I thought Song Xiaoyang wouldn't let it go, but he just gave Yi Zheng a fierce glare. "I'm too lazy to talk to someone like you. You're so unlucky. Su Miao, you wait for me." After leaving this harsh word, Song Xiaoyang actually left like this. I was a bit surprised. This kind of swallowing his anger was not in the style of school tyrant Song. Could it be that Yi Zheng had something on Song Xiaoyang? Song Xiaoyang didn't plan to let me off easily. However, the monthly exam was coming up next week, and he was busy cramming knowledge points,
preparing to show off in front of his goddess, Jiang Zhimiao, so he didn't have the time to pick on me for the moment. I also devoted myself wholeheartedly to my studies, but I hadn't been exposed to these high school knowledge for a long time, and it was really difficult for me to relearn it. Other classmates could memorize about 50 words a day, but no matter how hard I tried, I could only stumble through memorizing 20 words, not to mention mathematics, physics, and chemistry. I was completely at a loss. In this monthly exam, except for Chinese and history, which were good, I could only barely hover around the passing line in other subjects. Looking at the test paper in my hand, I was extremely depressed. Was I born a poor student? And even if I were to live my life again, I couldn't escape the fate of being at the bottom of the class. By chance, out of the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of Yi Zheng's report card. Goodness, he didn't pass any of the subjects. Not only that, but he also got 0 points in Chinese, history, and politics, but he got 11 points in mathematics, 22 points in physics, 33 points in English. What on earth was this? I blurted out. Yi Zheng, these scores are so absurd. There was a subtle smile on the corner of Yi Zheng's mouth. I just guessed randomly for the multiple choice and fill-in-the-blank questions. I couldn't understand a single question in the essay part. Then why didn't you guess randomly for Chinese and history? Well, Yi Zheng rubbed his eyes. There were too many words on these test papers, and I was too lazy to read the questions. I was speechless and turned my head to continue looking at the wrong questions. A few minutes later, there was suddenly a commotion at the door. A pretty girl with a ponytail walked in and angrily walked up to Yizheng. Yizheng, why didn't you take this exam seriously? Have you forgotten what teacher Zhao said before? As long as you can prove yourself, you can go back to the top class to study. Oh, go back. Yizheng leaned against the chair, looking lazy and carefree. Jiang Jimiao, this is just your wishful thinking. I have no intention of going back at all. So she was Jiang Jimiao. I secretly sized her up and found that she was really beautiful. She had an oval face, big eyes, fair skin, and a jet black ponytail. She was just like the female lead in a youth movie who had stepped out of the screen. The sunlight shone on her blushing cheeks due to excitement, adding a touch of unique vitality to her. No wonder Song Xiaoyang liked her. I would like her too if I were in his place. Neither Jiang Jimiao nor Yizheng said anything, and the atmosphere became tense. When Song Xiaoyang heard the news that Jiang Jimiao had come to our class, he rushed back from the basketball court in a hurry. Miao Miao, come and see. I passed the passing line in every subject in this exam. Have I made great progress? When he looked at Jiang Jimiao, his eyes were so gentle that they seemed to be filled with tenderness, but when his eyes landed on me and Yizheng, all that tenderness disappeared in an instant, replaced by blatant disgust and revulsion. Miao Miao, don't be so kind. Yizheng is just a good-for-nothing who can't be helped up, and this Su Miao, she looks like a toad. I'm afraid it will dirty your eyes just by looking at her. As he spoke, he tried to grab Jiang Jimiao's hand to lead her away. But she slapped his hand away. Jiang Jimiao ignored him completely and just stared fixedly at Yizheng. Are you really going to keep falling by the wayside? Yizheng didn't even raise his head and just snorted. What I do has nothing to do with you. Jiang Jimiao was so angry that she gritted her teeth and said harshly, fine, if I meddle in your business again in the future, I'll be a dog. She turned around and left, and Song Xiaoyang followed closely behind her. Miao Miao, don't be sad. Suddenly, an idea flashed through my mind. Song Xiaoyang hadn't won Jiang Jimiao over yet. I began to look for opportunities to get close to Jiang Jimiao. She was on guard against boys but was very easygoing with girls. After a few interactions, we quickly became friends. On the weekend, I invited her to the bookstore to buy tutoring materials, and I learned a lot about Yizheng from her. Jiang Jimiao's father and Yizheng's father were colleagues. They had been in the same class from primary school to middle school, and their academic performance was comparable. This year, the two of them had naturally entered the top class of one middle school, but soon after the start of senior high school, Yizheng's parents got divorced. Yizheng's father didn't want him. Yizheng's mother was engaged in biological technology research and needed to stay in Germany all year round, so she couldn't take care of him much either. This incident had a great impact on Yizheng, so he gave up on himself and didn't even bother to defend himself when he was accused of cheating. I was a bit shocked. The high school stage is so crucial. Why did his parents choose to get divorced at this time? A trace of uneasiness flashed in Jiang Jimiao's eyes. After a while, she lowered her voice and said, I heard from my mother that Uncle Yi had an affair outside, and that woman was pregnant and crying and making a scene for a proper status. As Jiang Jimiao spoke, she reached out and held my hand. Yizheng is a very important friend to me. I can't just stand by and watch him play with his future. Su Miao, I know this request may be a bit presumptuous for you, but could you please help me persuade him? She tilted her head slightly, and her watery eyes were filled with worry. The thought that such a kind-hearted girl would become Song Xiaoyang's wife in the future made me feel annoyed just thinking about it. So I looked up and smiled at her. Don't say that. Yizheng is also my classmate, and classmates should help each other. Also, I have something I want you to help me with. What is it? Keep a distance from Song Xiaoyang. He's not a good person. In my previous life, he bullied me for 3 years. In this life, I'll ruin his marriage. In this way, we can be considered to be treating each other in kind. Jiang Jimiao readily agreed to me. She had already been annoyed by Song Xiaoyang's pestering. When she heard me say that he had a bad character, the disgust in her words became even stronger. He's talking about feelings with me at an age when we should focus on studying. It's just too ridiculous. He also said that he's sincere to me and will treat me well for the rest of his life. I don't believe him at all. Instead of spending time having a puppy love with him, I might as well do 2 more sets of test papers. Don't worry. I'll definitely not look at him again in the future. After getting Jiang Jimiao's promise, I began to try to build a good relationship with Yizheng. After being reborn, every day I either thought about how to avoid Song Xiaoyang or how to improve my grades.
It wasn't until I separated from Jiang Jimiao that day that I suddenly remembered something. In my previous life, Yi Zhang and I weren't desk mates, but we did have a brief interaction. During the mock exam in the first semester of senior high school, Song Xiaoyang didn't perform well. In a fit of anger, he beat me up and locked me on the rooftop. I cried and shouted desperately for a long time. Finally, when the school bell rang after school, a boy opened the door for me from the inside. That boy was Yi Zheng. He lowered his head and asked me in a low voice, "Are you okay?" At that time, all I could think about was not wanting others to see my disheveled and embarrassed state. I just said thank you and ran away in a hurry, but when I ran out of the teaching building, a figure suddenly fell from the sky. All I could see was a scene of blood. Yi Zheng had jumped off the building. At that time, no one knew why a good-for-nothing student at the bottom of the class would jump off the building, and now, I think I've found the reason why Yi Zheng committed suicide. No one needed him, and he couldn't find the meaning of his existence. No one wants to be an isolated island. When a person is no longer needed by anyone, falling into despair becomes inevitable. So what I need to do is to make Yi Zheng feel needed. I shamelessly begged Yi Zheng to help me with my studies. This way, I could not only improve my grades but also get closer to him. It was a win-win situation, and it was simply wonderful. However, the reality was harsh. No matter how much I tried to persuade him with emotions and reasons, Yi Zheng remained unmoved and would just close his eyes and sleep every day. It was as if this wasn't a school but a hotel. After pestering him for a week, I was filled with anger and blocked him on his way home. "Yi Zheng, don't you think you're stupid to ruin your whole life for two people who don't care about you?" Yi Zheng's expression changed. The night shrouded him, and his profile was buried in the shadows, making it hard to see clearly. "Su Miao, mind your own business." Yi Zheng's voice was very soft, and I knew he was angry. But so what? Since he wouldn't listen to my kind words, I might as well give him a good scolding. "Your parents abandoned you, but your friends and your teachers all hope that you can pull yourself together. Why can you only see those who are heartless, while you turn a blind eye to those who care about you?" In the face of my questioning, Yi Zheng remained silent. I sighed and walked up to him. "Yi Zheng, no matter what, you shouldn't give up on your studies. I heard from Jiang Jimiao that your parents have a bad relationship. The reason why you used to study so hard was that only when you got good grades could your family of three sit down and have a meal in a harmonious atmosphere. But you've got one thing wrong. We should study for ourselves. Studying is not the only path in life, but it can provide us with opportunities for choice. You've already tasted the feeling of being abandoned. Don't you want to hold the right to choose in your own hands?" After that day, Yi Zheng finally came to his senses. He mended his relationship with Jiang Jimiao and also agreed to help me with my studies. However, when it comes to studying, it really requires a certain amount of talent. Although I got up earlier than the rooster and went to bed later than the ox every day, and there was a hidden top student by my side, my grades still didn't improve much. Looking at my math test paper with a score of 91 points, I frowned. If I can maintain this score, there should be no problem for me to apply for a second-tier university in the college entrance examination, but there is still a big gap if I want to reach the admission score line of a first-tier university in the future. Yi Zheng comforted me with a pen in his mouth. "Take your time, at least you scored over 90 points this time, which is a full 80 points higher than me." I turned my head and saw his test paper casually spread out on the desk. The huge numbers, 11, on it made my head ache. Yi Zheng, this childish guy, is addicted to controlling his scores. He said he wanted to lie low and make a stunning debut in the college entrance examination. In sharp contrast to us is Song Xiaoyang. He originally entered No.1 middle school by paying sponsorship fees through connections, but since Jiang Jimiao rejected his confession on the grounds that his academic performance was too poor, he has been working hard recently and wishes he could divide a day into 48 hours. In this exam, he successfully squeezed into the top 100 in the grade, which means he is one step closer to Jiang Jimiao, who is in the top 10 of the grade. Anyone who sees this can't help but sigh that the power of love is truly great, but a dog can't change its nature. As soon as he made some progress and heard that I had been getting close to Jiang Jimiao recently, he couldn't wait to cause trouble for me. He snatched the test paper from my hand and shouted loudly, "TSK, TSK, TSK, why only 91 points? Su Miao. With your IQ, what's the point of getting up early and staying up late every day? You might as well just sleep with your desk mate. The surrounding classmates burst into laughter. In the face of his mockery, I just smiled softly. You're getting carried away just because you're in the top 100 of the grade. Jiang Zhimiao seems to be in the top 3 of the grade this time. You still have a long way to go. Song Xiaoyang suddenly became furious and pointed at my nose. Bitch. I knew it was you who was talking nonsense in front of Miao Miao. That's why she refuses to talk to me. Don't think that just because you're a girl I won't hit you. He has always been a person without much moral character. Otherwise, he wouldn't have used me, a girl, as a punching bag in his previous life. When I saw him raise his hand, I instinctively raised my right hand to block his fist. After waiting for a few seconds, his fist didn't land on me. Yi Zheng stood up and grabbed his hand. Song Xiaoyang, you even want to hit a girl, have you no shame? Song Xiaoyang exclaimed exaggeratedly. Are you kidding me, you cheating dog? Is she even considered a girl? She's more like a toad. This was really hurtful, but it was indeed Song Xiaoyang's true feelings. In his opinion, only girls as beautiful as Jiang Zhimiao can be called girls. As for the others, they are like dinosaurs and toads. Yi Zheng put away his lazy and carefree look and said word by word. You think you're great by classifying people into different levels based on their appearance, but in fact, people like you are simply vulgar. Jiang Zhimiao hates people like you the most. Even if all the men in the world were dead, she would never take a fancy to you. He knew exactly how to hit where it hurt. Song Xiaoyang was so angry that he raised his fist to hit someone. Yi Zheng wasn't afraid of him either, and the two of them started fighting in the classroom. The classmates couldn't stop them.
And it was only when the teacher came that the two were separated. According to the usual practice, parents should be called for a fight. Yi Zheng's parents didn't come. Song Xiaoyang's mother arrived quickly. Seeing the bruise on her son's mouth, she demanded that the school expel Yi Zheng without thinking twice. Teacher Zhang, how could my Yang take the initiative to hit someone? It must be this poor student at the bottom of the class who bullied him. Look at what he's done to my child's face. I heard that he cheated in the exam before, right? A student with such bad moral character definitely cannot stay in one middle school. I glanced at Song Xiaoyang and saw the viciousness in his eyes clearly. Suddenly, I had an epiphany. Song Xiaoyang did it on purpose just now. He knew that Yi Zheng had a disciplinary record, and if he got another major demerit, he would definitely be expelled from school, so he deliberately picked a fight with him. I stepped forward and interrupted Mrs. Song's words. Auntie, are you so sure that Yi Zheng was the one who started the trouble? I was at the scene. Song Xiaoyang was the one who raised his hand to hit me first, and my desk mate stepped in to stop him because he couldn't stand it. As soon as Song Xiaoyang heard this, he quickly shouted, Mom, Teacher Zhang, don't listen to Sun Yao's nonsense. She liked to flirt around when she was in junior high school. She's having a puppy love with Yi Zheng now. They're in this together. In a high school campus, puppy love is a sensitive term. As soon as any teacher hears these two words, the radar on their head will immediately stand up. Teacher Zhang was no exception. She immediately turned to look at me. Sun Yao. I shook my head firmly. Whoever makes the claim should provide the evidence. If you say I flirted around in junior high school, then please show the evidence, also. Yi Zheng and I have a normal classmate relationship. Don't be so narrow-minded and spread malicious rumors about us. Song Xiaoyang regarded me as a disgrace, so of course he wouldn't make public the fact that he had mistaken me for Jiang Zhimiao and courted me for 2 years, and even took the initiative to confess his love to me. He could only stick his neck out and stubbornly say, you know what you were like in junior high school. You bring breakfast for Yi Zheng every day. And all the classmates in the class have seen it. If you say you're not having a puppy love, who would believe it? I was speechless. Did he think everyone was as infatuated with love as he was? Doesn't he understand human relationships? Teacher Zhang looked at me and Yi Zheng seriously. Puppy love violates the school rules. If it's true, both of you will be given a disciplinary record. The teacher hopes that you can answer seriously and not play with your future. I remained calm. Teacher Zhang, I do bring breakfast for Yi Zheng, but it's just to thank him for helping me with my studies after class. We're not having a puppy love. Seeing this, Teacher Zhang's expression softened. After all, my great improvement in the past 2 months was obvious to all. Song Xiaoyang, however, seemed to have heard the most ridiculous joke. Yi Zheng helps you with your studies, he said sarcastically. Sun Yao, please think twice before you lie. Yi Zheng has always been the last in the class. How could he help you with your studies? Even if you're having a puppy love, don't treat us like fools. I silently mouthed, sorry, to Yizheng. The next second, in his confused gaze, I took out a USB flash drive. Teacher Zhang, I also have something to report to the school. I want to report to you that Song Xiaoyang maliciously framed Yizheng for cheating. During the diagnostic exam after the start of the semester, Yizheng didn't cheat. Song Xiaoyang was in the same examination room as him at that time, and he secretly stuffed that piece of paper into Yizheng's school uniform pocket. As soon as I finished speaking, everyone's eyes were focused on Song Xiaoyang. His expression suddenly became a bit flustered, and he growled, Su Miao, what nonsense are you talking about? We're talking about your puppy love with Su Miao now. I think you're just feeling guilty and trying to change the topic and wrongly accuse me on purpose. I'm telling the truth. I gave him a cold look. I have a surveillance video here. Teacher, you can take a look. The video in the USB flash drive was copied by Jiang Jimiao and me from the security room half a month ago. There are cameras installed in each classroom, but because Yizheng was caught red-handed at that time and he didn't defend himself at all, the teachers didn't check the surveillance. The school's surveillance videos will be automatically overwritten after more than 3 months. Fortunately, Jiang Jimiao and I went in time. If we had been 2 days later, the video would have been automatically overwritten. Just as teacher Zhang reached out her hand, someone behind her intercepted it first. Song Xiaoyang snatched the USB flash drive and threw it out of the window forcefully. If Yizheng didn't cheat, why didn't he say so at that time? Now you can just take a random USB flash drive and wrongly accuse me. It's ridiculous. The school has been building a new teaching building recently. The window of this office is just facing the construction site of the new building, and the small USB flash drive disappeared without a trace in an instant. I immediately became angry. Song Xiaoyang, are you crazy? Song Xiaoyang raised the corners of his mouth triumphantly, looking so arrogant as if I couldn't do anything to him. The anger in my chest was burning more and more fiercely, but Yizheng suddenly stepped forward and said unhurriedly, Song Xiaoyang, don't you think that destroying the surveillance means everything is okay? Su Miao is right. I didn't cheat. You deliberately framed me that day. Song Xiaoyang raised his eyebrows and sneered. Stop scaring people here. Why would I wrongly accuse you for no reason? I have no reason to target you at all. Of course you do. Suddenly, Jiang Jimiao's loud voice came from the door of the office. I secretly breathed a sigh of relief in my heart. When Song Xiaoyang and Yizheng were fighting in the classroom, I quietly asked the monitor to find Jiang Jimiao and inform her of the situation. Jiang Jimiao walked straight up to teacher Zhang and slapped the love letter in her hand on the table. Teacher, Song Xiaoyang framed Yizheng because of me. Song Xiaoyang has been pestering me since the start of senior high school, wanting me to be his girlfriend. Yizheng and I live in the same community, and we used to go home together before. Song Xiaoyang couldn't stand it, so he wrongly accused him of cheating during the exam. Song Xiaoyang stubbornly refused to admit his fault and quickly explained, Miao Miao, don't be deceived by Yizheng. If he didn't cheat, why is he always at the bottom of the class in every exam?
Jiang Jimiao wasn't to be outdone. Yizheng has always had excellent grades since he was a child. If the school doesn't believe it, you can give Yizheng a set of test papers on the spot, and the truth will be revealed. There was a dead silence in the office. Yizheng didn't say anything, but Song Xiaoyang spoke first. Fine, I demand to have a competition with Yizheng on the spot, and let the teacher calculate our scores on the spot. If you lose, you and Su Miao should drop out of school voluntarily. Yizheng, do you dare to compete with me? His tone was so confident, thinking that Yizheng would definitely lose. Teacher Zhang's face darkened. Song Xiaoyang, the school is not a place for you to vent your anger. You have no right to ask other students to drop out of school voluntarily. Teacher Zhang, I'm willing to compete with him. Yizheng turned his head and glanced at me, and then said to Teacher Zhang, I hope you can give me a chance to prove myself. I promise you that after I win, I won't ask Song Xiaoyang to drop out of school either. Song Xiaoyang, however, didn't appreciate it. Yizheng hadn't listened to the lessons carefully this semester. He was certain that he would win, so he simply left a harsh word. Don't be so hypocritical. If I lose, I'll transfer to another school and leave one middle school by myself. 11. The math teacher printed out 2 test papers on the spot. This is the test paper for the final exam of this semester. It's just right for you to practice with. The answering time is 60 minutes, and the timing starts now. Yi Zheng and Song Xiaoyang each found an empty seat and sat down to start answering the questions. The grade director invigilated them personally, and everyone else walked out of the office. During this period, I kept pacing back and forth in the corridor. Seeing this, Jiang Jimiao comforted me calmly. It's okay. Yi Zheng has an IQ of 140, just wait for his good news. I have no doubt about Yi Zheng's strength. It was the meaningful look he gave me just now that made me restless. Jiang Jimiao comforted me a few words, and suddenly changed the subject, asking in a low voice, by the way, that guy has been working too hard recently. Could it be that you two are really having a puppy love? How could that be possible? I was startled and quickly waved my hands, looking at the whole one middle school. Do you think there are boys who would like me? Why not? Jiang Jimiao asked me back without thinking. You have a good personality, you're thoughtful and kind, you're very likable. I was stunned and didn't come back to my senses for a long time. In my previous life, I was disliked by my classmates and colleagues. Without realizing it, I had forgotten what it felt like to be recognized. After being reborn, besides studying, I also strengthened my exercise to promote my body's metabolism. Now there are a lot fewer pimples on my face than before, but I'm still feeling inferior inside, thinking that I'm ordinary and don't deserve to be liked. Seeing my dazed expression, Jiang Jimiao smiled and held my hand. Su Miao, although you may think I'm just talking without experiencing the hardship, I still want to tell you that you have to be more confident. You're no worse than anyone else. If someone judges you solely based on your appearance, it doesn't mean that you're really worthless, it just means that he's really shallow. There was a light of sincerity in her eyes. My heart felt a pang of bitterness, and I lowered my head to avoid her gaze. An hour later, Yi Zheng and Song Xiaoyang walked out of the office one after the other. The test papers were graded quickly. Song Xiaoyang performed quite well and scored 129 points, and Yi Zheng, without any surprise, got a full score. When the grade director announced the results on the spot, Song Xiaoyang couldn't withstand the blow and actually his legs went weak and he fell to the ground. Yi Zheng smiled at him and said, I'm really sorry. If I had known you were this bad, I should have controlled my score. Have you decided which school you're going to transfer to? Seeing Song Xiaoyang in such a state, his mother couldn't sit still and jumped out to defend him, saying, it's just a squabble between two children. How can you take it so seriously? Facing her double standards, Jiang Jimiao couldn't help but speak up. Auntie, one should keep one's word. If you didn't agree with Song Xiaoyang's actions, why didn't you stop him at the first moment? Song Xiaoyang's mother also knew that she was in the wrong, but even though she was in the wrong, she still had to keep making a fuss. No, one middle school is the best high school in the city. There have always been students from outside trying to get in through connections, and there has never been a student from one middle school who would take the initiative to transfer out. Since Jiang Jimiao was the first to speak, she simply turned her anger towards her. I haven't settled the score with you, but you're the one picking on me. There are so many female students in the whole school and the whole grade. Why did my son write a love letter to you and not to others? You must have seduced him first, right? You're not learning well at such a young age. You have a coquettish look and all you think about all day is how to flirt with boys. I'm warning you, don't meddle in this matter, otherwise, I'll ask the teacher to invite your parents to school. After all, Jiang Jimiao was just a girl in her teens, and she was immediately scared to tears. Seeing this, Teacher Zhang quickly pulled her behind her and said, Mrs. Song, you're a woman yourself. How can you say such things to a girl? When it comes to studying, Jiang Jimiao has never fallen out of the top 10 of the grade. Although she's not the best, she's definitely not worse than your son. Teacher Zhang's words not only failed to calm Mrs. Song down but made her even more excited. How can you talk like this? Teacher, I can file a complaint against you with the Education Bureau. Mrs. Song was so arrogant that she scolded everyone. She left a harsh word, saying that if anyone dared to make things difficult for Song Xiaoyang at school in the future, don't blame her for being impolite. Song Xiaoyang followed her away without saying a word. As he passed by me, he gave me a deep look. There was an evil aura in his gloomy eyes, which made me feel deeply uneasy. Teacher Zhang said that the school would deal with this matter and asked us to focus on our studies. After walking out of the teaching building, Jiang Jimiao looked troubled and said, I don't know how the teachers will handle it. I always feel that Song Xiaoyang's family definitely won't let it go easily, but Yizheng just looked at me expressionlessly and said, Su Miao, don't you have anything to say about what happened today? From the very beginning, you deliberately got close to me and Jiang Miao. What on earth is your ulterior motive?
A leaden-colored dark cloud drifted over in the distance, the sun was blocked. Jiang Miao didn't understand what was going on and stared at Yizheng. Hey, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting crazy for no reason? Yizheng didn't answer but just stared fixedly at me. I took a deep breath and told them everything about my online relationship with Song Xiaoyang. You guessed it right. I did approach you with a purpose. I'm sorry for using you, but I don't regret it. Song Xiaoyang is like a mad dog. The more I'm afraid and forbearing, the more he will push his luck. I was reborn to make up for the regrets of my previous life and live a different life, not to continue being his punching bag, so I must resist. I looked at the two in front of me and said softly, you probably won't want to have any more contact with me in the future. I'll apply to the teacher to change my seat tomorrow. Change your seat? No way. Jiang Miao suddenly roared with her hands on her hips. Su Miao, I'm really angry, but compared to your concealment, I'm even angrier that as your friend, I didn't share your worries and fears when you were scared. You're as stubborn as a turtle, you can hold it in so much. And you, Yizheng, I don't even want to talk about you. It's not right for Su Miao to hide things from us, but she has her reasons. We should judge things by their actions, not by our speculation. Whether it was her persuading me to keep a distance from Song Xiaoyang before or her clearing your name of the cheating accusation today, we are all the actual beneficiaries. Yizheng was a bit unconvinced and argued, but I didn't ask her to help me. You still have the nerve to say, but Jiang Miao didn't give him a chance to speak at all and scolded him like scolding a dog. Stop reading online novels and do more practice questions. Why do you have to imitate the protagonists in novels and control your scores? You think you're so amazing. Go to the hospital and register for a consultation when you have time to cure your middle school sophomore syndrome. After her outburst, the originally solemn atmosphere disappeared. I asked cautiously, will you still be willing to be my friends in the future? Of course, Jiang Miao answered firmly. And Yizheng also gave a low response. The afterglow of the setting sun fell into her clear eyes. Let's forget about what happened today, but good friends should share will and woe. If you two have anything in the future, don't hide it anymore. Song Xiaoyang soon took revenge on me. A few days later, my father's breakfast shop was suddenly smashed up. After my father was laid off, my mother divorced him. He used the compensation money to lease a storefront and opened a breakfast shop by himself. For the past 10 years. He has been relying on this small shop to support the two of us, but now, the shop was in a mess, and there were many insulting words written with red spray paint on the roller shutter door. The people who smashed the shop came prepared. The surveillance camera at the door was deliberately damaged, and we couldn't find any useful clues at all, until the next day on my way to school, I met Song Xiaoyang. He lowered his voice and asked me with a smile, do you like the gift I gave you? You'd better be sensible. If you dare to oppose me again, the next time I won't just smash your father's breakfast shop. After saying this, Song Xiaoyang took a step and left. I stared fixedly at his brisk back, wishing I could pounce on him and tear him to pieces. How dare he lay his hands on my family? How dare he? When Jiang Miao learned that Song Xiaoyang had someone smash my father's shop, she was furious. She was about to rush to settle the score with Song Xiaoyang. Yizheng held her back and said, calm down, my friend has been bullied, and you asked me to calm down. Jiang Miao stared at him with wide eyes. Yizheng, I'll just ask you one thing. Is that scoundrel's behavior human? Doesn't he deserve a good beating? He does deserve a beating, but we don't have any evidence now. Miao Miao, Yizheng is right. I slowly exhaled a breath and said, actually, I've already thought of a way, but I need your help. After school the next day, I took the initiative to show weakness to Song Xiaoyang. Classmate Song, can you spare me a few minutes? I have something to say to you. It won't take you long. Seeing the pleading look on my face, Song Xiaoyang raised the corners of his mouth in satisfaction and followed me to the small grove behind the teaching building. When we got to the grove, I dropped to my knees with a thud. Song Xiaoyang, please don't send anyone to make trouble in my father's shop anymore. I was wrong. I shouldn't have opposed you. I won't dare to do it again in the future. Please spare my father. I'm begging you. After hearing my words, Song Xiaoyang was slightly puzzled. He had ordered the smashing of the shop, but he hadn't arranged for anyone to cause trouble in the breakfast shop again after that. But he didn't look into it further, at the moment. My humiliating gesture of kneeling and begging for mercy gave him great pleasure. He raised his eyebrows and a sarcastic arc appeared at the corner of his mouth. Su Miao, you're such a spineless wretch, you only show weakness when I use some means. If you had been obedient earlier, why would I have someone smash your father's shop? I lowered my head in fear and trepidation. I was sorry and made you angry. Classmate Song, I apologize to you. Please forgive me for my mistake. Song Zhaoyang put his foot on my shoulder and sneered, when you beg for mercy. You should act like you're begging. I shuddered all over. I deliberately froze for a few seconds before kowtowing 3 times to him with a pale face. Please be merciful and spare me. The moment I finished speaking, tears streamed down my cheeks. Song Zhaoyang was quite satisfied with my performance. Good performance. From now on, you'll be my little bitch. You have to do whatever I tell you to do. Do you hear me? Song Zhaoyang had an appointment to play games in the internet cafe. Seeing me nod timidly, he kicked me over and left swaggeringly. After he left, Yi Zhang and Jiang Zhimiao walked out from a hidden corner not far away. Jiang Zhimiao took 3 steps at a time and ran to my side. She took out a tissue from her bag and wiped the yellow mud off my face. Meow meow, does it hurt? I shook my head and stood up from the ground. Don't worry, I'm fine. Was everything that happened just now filmed? Yi Zhang nodded. Don't worry. I specially brought a professional camera from home. The picture and the sound were filmed very clearly. Hearing his words, I raised the corners of my mouth in satisfaction. Everything that had just happened was a play I directed and acted out myself, in order to make Song Zhaoyang admit with his own mouth that he had someone smash my father's breakfast shop. Before long, Song Zhaoyang's good days would come to an end.
After that day, I became the most obedient lackey by Song Zhaoyang's side. I didn't fight back when beaten and didn't talk back when scolded. Moreover, I drew a clear line with Yi Zhang and Jiang Zhimiao, and I basically didn't talk to the other classmates in the class either. Such days lasted for about half a month, until the day of Song Zhaoyang's birthday, while we were still having classes. The dean of students suddenly came to our class and took Song Zhaoyang away. A few minutes later, Teacher Zhang also came. She took me to the office. Su Miao, you've been absent-minded in class recently. Are you not feeling well? I shook my head and quietly put my hands behind my back. Song Zhaoyang didn't perform well in the test 2 days ago. He had just beaten me up yesterday, and there were still several bruises on my body at the moment, but I lowered my head and didn't say anything. Teacher Zhang had no way to deal with me and sighed. Su Miao, the teacher will tell you the truth. Last night, the Education Bureau received an anonymous report email, and there was a video in it of Song Zhaoyang bullying you at school. The leaders of the Education Bureau attach great importance to this matter. If you have really been bullied, the teacher hopes that you can tell the truth. I knew about this. I had personally sorted out the materials for the report. There were not only the video of Song Zhaoyang humiliating me in the grove that day, but also the videos of him fighting and brawling outside the school and fooling around in the bar, and according to my memory from my previous life, there were also the photos I secretly took of his parents entering and leaving high-consumption places, but the time wasn't right yet, and I had to pretend a little longer. I bit my lip and said in a low voice, Teacher Zhang, you don't have to lie to me, it's useless to say some things. Song Zhaoyang said that his father works in the Education Bureau, and even if someone reports him, it's just going through the motions. I come from an ordinary family, and I can't afford to offend him. How can you think like that? Teacher Zhang stood up and held my arm. I couldn't hold back the pain and let out a slight cry. She immediately noticed something was wrong. She rolled up my sleeve and saw that there was a large patch of green and purple bruises on my arm. What's going on? Teacher Zhang was both shocked and angry. Did Song Zhaoyang do this? He hit you. When did this happen? Under her repeated questioning and assurance, I finally relented and admitted that I had been bullied by Song Zhaoyang recently. Teacher Zhang was furious. She took me to the hospital to get an injury verification report and truthfully reported my situation to the school and the relevant departments. Because the evidence was conclusive, the school quickly expelled Song Zhaoyang. His father was also removed from his position and under investigation by his unit for covering up his misdeeds many times and being suspected of abusing his power for personal gain. The day Song Zhaoyang's mother came to the school to go through the formalities, she was like a dejected fighting cock and no longer had the arrogance she used to have. When she saw me and Jiang Zhimiao in the corridor, she didn't say a single extreme word. Jiang Zhimiao was full of surprise. Su Miao, am I dreaming? Is this still that overbearing aunt who threatened to teach us a lesson? She has changed so much. In fact, there was nothing to be surprised about. The reason why she and Song Xiaoyang were so arrogant before was that they relied on Song Xiaoyang's father's support behind the scenes. Now that their backer had fallen, these two naturally no longer had the capital to be arrogant. According to teacher Zhang, Song Xiaoyang's father had also been fired. And now no school in the city was willing to accept Song Xiaoyang. He could only go back to his hometown to study. All my efforts of enduring humiliation and working hard in silence before were worth it. This time, I could finally get rid of Song Xiaoyang completely. I didn't expect that Song Xiaoyang would cause trouble again. During the college entrance examination, Yi Zheng's examination room was in No. 3 middle school, while Jiang Zhimiao and I were both assigned to No. 7 middle school. After the last subject, Jiang Zhimiao and I agreed to go home together. As soon as we walked out of the school gate, Song Xiaoyang suddenly emerged from the crowd and grabbed Jiang Zhimiao. Miao Miao, come home with me now. Jiang Zhimiao was stunned for a moment and then shook off his hand with all her strength. Are you crazy? We're not even familiar. Why should I go home with you? Song Xiaoyang looked deranged. My heart immediately tightened, and I couldn't help but shiver. Could it be that Song Xiaoyang was also reborn? My guess was soon confirmed. The next second, Song Xiaoyang stepped forward again and tried to get close to Jiang Zhimiao. How can we not be familiar? Miao Miao, we're a legal couple who have already gotten married. Be good and come home with me. He smiled, but his eyes were icy cold. My body reacted faster than my mind, and I pushed him away hard. Song Xiaoyang didn't expect me to dare to lay hands on him and took 2 steps back. He glared at me fiercely. I almost forgot about you, you bitch. If it weren't for your meddling, Miao Miao would already be with me. I'm in this situation all because of you. Let's settle the score today. As he spoke, he took out a folding fruit knife from his pocket. I was extremely scared and grabbed Jiang Zhimiao's hand, turning around to run back. Song Xiaoyang immediately took off after us. Jiang Zhimiao and I managed to escape Song Xiaoyang's clutches. There were police officers on duty at the entrance of the examination room. He failed to catch us and was instead subdued. Song Xiaoyang was detained. Thanks to him, Jiang Zhimiao and I also went to the police station to give statements. When we came out, my father and Jiang Zhimiao's parents were waiting outside. After hearing the news, Yi Zheng also rushed over. What happened? Are you two okay? I hid the fact that Song Xiaoyang was reborn and just said that he might hold a grudge against us and was looking for an opportunity to retaliate. For the next week, I was on edge, constantly worried that Song Xiaoyang would come after us again once he was released. But to my surprise, before Song Xiaoyang could retaliate against us again, he died. Because of my report earlier, Song Xiaoyang's father became unemployed. He drank heavily at home every day and would beat people when he was drunk. On the day Song Xiaoyang was released from the police station this time, his father started beating him and his mother again. Song Xiaoyang didn't swallow his anger as he used to. In the end, the father and son fought each other to death. Only Song Xiaoyang's mother survived, but she was left with lifelong disabilities. The next day, Jiang Zhimiao invited me out for dinner. She told me that she had a strange dream last night,
in which she was actually with Song Xiaoyang. In the 2nd year of their marriage, she accidentally discovered that Song Xiaoyang had framed Yi Zheng for cheating in high school. They had a huge argument over this. Jiang Zhimiao couldn't forgive herself, nor could she continue to live with someone who had indirectly caused the death of her friend. She proposed a divorce to Song Xiaoyang, which enraged him, and he hit her. He imprisoned Jiang Zhimiao, cut off all her contact with the outside world, and made her his captive. Jiang Zhimiao couldn't take it anymore. When she was caught trying to escape, she accidentally killed Song Xiaoyang. After listening to Jiang Zhimiao's words, I fell silent. I understood that this might not just be an ordinary dream, but Jiang Zhimiao's real life in her previous life. It turned out that in the previous life, Song Xiaoyang didn't just ruin me. With this thought in mind, I quickly took her hand and said seriously, Miao Miao, dreams are usually the opposite. You'll have a great future. Don't waste too much energy on a scumbag. It's not worth it. Jiang Zhimiao nodded and smiled. I know. I didn't take it to heart. I just thought the dream was too absurd and wanted to complain to you. You're great in every way, but sometimes you're just too sensitive. More than 20 days later, the college entrance examination results were released. All 3 of us were admitted to our dream universities. Jiang Jimiao and I applied to universities in the south, while Yizheng went to the north alone. The future is still uncertain, but I'm not lost. Just as the sun always shines after the rain, after going through hardships, we will eventually become the people we aspire to be. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.